Hello everybody, welcome back to IELTS Master. This is video number 24. We are still in the speaking series. Today, we will go back to IELTS speaking part 2. In the first 3 videos, 21, 22, 23, we have been introduced to the 3 parts of the IELTS speaking test. For part 1, very simple and basic questions. For part 2, we had to talk about an event in the past, and for part 3, we learned some phrases that can help us express our own opinion. For example, from my point of view, in my opinion, to my way of thinking, to my mind, something like that. Today, we go back to IELTS speaking part 2, and your job is to describe a people. Sometimes you gotta describe a person, describe somebody you know, or even somebody you don't know. Well, so for example, you may have to describe your teacher, your favorite teacher, your father, your mother, your brother, sister, your son, and maybe you gotta describe a famous people that you admire, something like that. In terms of contents today, first we'll see a describing people task, and then we're gonna see how you can make notes for IELTS speaking part 2. Very simple, isn't it? Now, here is the task. The task says, describe a teacher you can remember from your school days. You should say what the teacher looks like, what subject they taught, what kind of person they were, and explain how this person has influenced you. Alright, so basically here you gotta describe a teacher from your school days. I've already had a teacher in my mind. Well, I know what he looked like, I know what subject he taught, and I know what kind of person he was, and I know how much he has influenced me. Okay, very simple. So in the previous video we talked about planning. Today we'll talk more clearly about how you can plan and make notes for part 2. Now, this is an example of making notes. One student made this note about a teacher that I remember. This is what she did. She's gonna do more ideas around physical characteristic, psychological characteristic, the habits, why he's a good teacher, and the special quality of this teacher. Alright. For each of these main points, she's gonna add more ideas. She has even more examples to show what the physical feature of the teacher is. He's short, he's fat, just like me, right? Maybe that's one of my students. And he's amusing and relaxed. That's the psychological characteristic. Habits, he always rolls his tie up and down. Well, I never wear a tie, so maybe I'm not the teacher of this person. Special quality, alright, he has a cheerful personality. He's always smiling, always laughing. Now that's crazy, that's not cheerful. Why is he a good teacher? Well, make boring subjects easy, and makes the difficult subjects easy, make boring subjects easy and less boring, something like that. Okay. Then this is one way that you can make notes for the IELTS speaking part 2. The key idea in the very center, and then the general, the main ideas to the side. And smaller ideas, examples, you're gonna add these later, alright? See that? This is how you're gonna organize your talk very effectively. Okay. Now, useful phrases for you to describe people. Of course, when we describe someone, we need some phrases to help us, to guide us through the path. And remember, this is a whole description, so it has to be structured. These are some of the phrases that you can use. First, you can say, alright, the person I've chosen to talk about is my high school teacher. His name is Gwit. Alright. Second, you can say, I remember really well. So, I remember my high school teacher, Mr. Gwit, very well. Physically, okay. Physically, he was not very tall. He was medium height and medium weight. He had a round No, I'm sorry, he has a square face with blonde hair. Alright, he has a blonde hair. He's bonded like an eagle. He looked very professional with shrugged shoulders, something like this. Alright, not very firm. Okay, that's how he looks. But he looks very professional, like a real professor. In terms of personality, he was very funny, amusing and entertaining, easygoing as well. He was a teacher, but he was not difficult at all. Or you can say character-wise, this means the same as in terms of personality. Character-wise, he was an amusing person. Character-wise, he was very easygoing. Now, what taught me was that. So these are about the lesson. What Mr. Quid taught me was that I have to study hard in order to succeed. What Mr. Quid taught me was that without efforts, I can never succeed. Or I can say, I'll never forget him or her because. I'll never forget him or her because he made me want to become a teacher. To transmit knowledge to other people. That's it. He was my inspiration, my mentor. All, even until this very moment. Now, over to you. This is your task, this is your homework. Describe a person you know who has helped you in some way. You should say how you know this person, what ability this person has, how this person has helped you, and explain how this help has influenced your life. So think about that. Someone who has helped you in some way, someone who has given you money, someone who has bought you a new house, someone who has given you great advice in career choice. Well, it could be anyone, but remember, try to cover all of the points here. We got only 4 points, so don't miss anyone. Make an outline, make a plan, and add the ideas. Alright, that's gotta be covered. Now that's enough for this video on speaking, describing people. Remember, when you're describing people, use the phrases that I introduced to talk about the person that you've chosen, the physical characteristics, the personality, and finally the lesson or the experience or the memory with this person that you have. Okay, thank you very much. This is the end of this video. I'm gonna see you in the next one, number 25, where we will be continuing to talk about speaking.